What's up everyone, this is Giorgio, and today, to be honest, I wanted to put out my last quick achievement guide. However, there is a new topic that I like to discuss while it's hot, and I'm of course referring to the new MTX that's been added on the Garena server, which allows you a free respec of your passive tree. So there's been a huge uproar on both Reddit and the forums about this. Before going into my opinion, I'll start with a couple of facts. So first fact, in the version 1.1.3 that came out today, Garena actually added a new microtransaction which allows you to reset your skill tree completely. So there's one thing. What is Garena? Garena is a consumer internet platform provider in Asia, which means that they actually buy the right from developers to publish their game in their own regions. In this case, it's Singapore and Malaysia. So the topics have exploded so much that Chris Wilson had to answer, and he posted the same thing on both Reddit and the forums. So we're gonna take a look at it, and he makes 4 points. The first says, we are willing to allow Garena to experiment with microtransactions that they feel are appropriate for their audience on their servers, and I'm going to come to this point later. Point B, this microtransaction isn't something that I will choose to add to our servers, but it is certainly not game-breakingly harmful. Does this mean that it's slightly harmful? Moderately harmful? I mean, it's not game-breakingly harmful, but this does not make it any less pay-to-win. So I don't really understand this point. Point C, we have the ability to push back on requested changes. If they wanted to add something really harmful, then we'll disagree. They haven't asked to add anything really harmful, other companies have asked. So basically Garena is the first one that manages to put out something like this, while other companies have tried and failed because they asked too much. Garena asked just about enough to get away with it. And the point D, while we can talk about specifics, the licensing deal with Garena has and continues to help the development resources of Path of Exile substantially, which basically means that Garena pays GGG a huge amount of money, and as such they get a lot of controls over their own servers, bringing us back to the point A, where GGG says they allow Garena to experiment with microtransactions they feel appropriate for their audience on their servers, which is a very big point here, because basically GGG is saying we have a belief that games should not be pay to win. However, we believe that Garena knows better for their own servers, for their own audience. So what's going on there? Because it's obviously fishy that someone like GGG, who made a game from nothing and made it really popular, actually drop their beliefs just for a very small portion of their audience. I mean, something's going on under there, right? So whether it's the money that Garena pays them, whether it's like GGG, in truth actually it's not all about not being pay to win, whether GGG is testing their ground with this kind of microtransaction, I don't know, but what I know is that a lot of people aren't happy about this. I am not happy about this, because it's all about the trust you put in someone, and GGG always said they will never go pay to win. Hell, they even made a microtransaction that made fun of pay-to-win models. I'm talking about the fireworks, of course. But then they act the opposite and allows Garena to put out a microtransaction that's clearly pay-to-win. How can you continue trusting someone who tells you something but then acts the opposite, right? Even if I'm not playing on Garena's server and it's not affecting me directly, this does not mean I do not care about it. And also, a very important point here, the fact that Southeast Asian players get fed pay-to-win games all day does not mean they actually like it. Because if all they get are pay-to-win games, well, guess what? All they will play are pay-to-win games. How many real free-to-play, not pay-to-win games are out there? Not that many, right? And casually, one of the real free-to-play games is at the top of the world right now. So you might start thinking how much of an impact pay-to-win games have. Southeast Asian players really don't have a choice when it comes to gaming, because if they play on a European or American or Australian server, their connection is going to lag, it's going to be delayed, and overall the game is not going to be enjoyable. So it's not like they have a choice of playing on another server. I mean, yeah, they can, but the whole game experience is just not there anymore. So what they do is play on the Garena server, of course, which might be pay to win, but they do not have another choice. So saying that they like it because they do not have another choice is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. And to the players who think this microtransaction is not pay to win, I'd like to say that pay to win actually means that you pay real money to get an advantage over someone who doesn't. So regardless of how big it is, regardless of how much you pay, if you gain an unfair advantage, well, that's pay to win. So someone who buys this microtransaction gets a free respect point, which is of course an advantage, because someone who doesn't pay this will have to use regret orbs, and regret orbs actually have a value in the market, and it's not even that low. So this microtransaction is either going to screw up the market or screw up the players who don't buy it. So regardless, this is a pay to win transaction, and no matter how small it is, it's still pay to win. And once you start, what stops you from going more into that direction? Because once you allow some snow to start rolling, you're going to have an avalanche sooner or later. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. I'm sure it's a bit confusionary. It's really hard to just express thoughts on something like this, but hopefully you guys understood what I wanted to say. And whether you agree or disagree, start a discussion, possibly keep it civil, post some comments below, comment on the Reddit, do whatever. And also, actually, that I think about it, there is the podcast this Sunday, and talking about timing, Chris Wilson himself will be there. So if you guys are going to watch it, listen to it. If you guys are going to spam the Twitch chat, just go and ask for this kind of question to be asked. Go there and ask Chris to explain more why this choice was made, because that's actually the perfect show to discuss this topic, right? So I think that's about it, and I'll see you guys the next time.